The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 826. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have another amazing Asian woman who boss up co-author, and she's here today to share some wisdom and a little bit about her story. So she is also the founder, CEO, and executive producer of Masterpiece. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Liza Millan. Liza, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Thanks for having me here. Masterpiece is a marketing and event agency. So I've been planning events for over 10 years now. And what we do is that we provide all marketing and event services from top to bottom. So even with virtual events, I help with the planning, the strategy, and logistics. And that's what we do as a whole.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Liza, what's your cultural background?
I'm Filipino.
Thanks for sharing that. And how does the model minority myth hurt Asian women as a whole?
I believe that the model minority myth does affect Asian women as a whole because it's really the stereotype of it. And I always feel that we are being pigeonholed. I think it really affects a lot of Asians whenever that's said because we're all our own person, right? And so we're all different in our own way. And I feel that if when we are placed in this model minority myth of being that like Asian, right? I think that, I think it's wrong.
Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, so true, especially with what's been going on in our Asian community. Women are actually targeted more, 2 or 3 times likely to get targeted more on Asian hate crimes because of this model minority myth, right? A lot of people think we're all quiet and submissive and obedient and we get treated as objects, and this is not right. And because of that, we have these incidents like the Atlanta shooting where 6 innocent Asian women are dead for no reason for a senseless crime. And so I think now more than ever, it's really important to eliminate these model minority myths and show society what it means to be a powerful, brave, and strong Asian woman. So thanks for sharing that. And why is creating a stronger representation of Asian women so important for you?
I feel that it is important, again, because of like what some of the stereotypes are. And I also feel that we need to have a voice out there. We need to speak up. And also, I know that as an Asian woman and an Asian woman who bossed up, that it's now time for us to represent and also show the world what we can do.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think it was just divine timing that this book came out, right? To really help Asian women just boss up and speak up for themselves and for our community. And we all need a platform of some sort. We all need support because we always feel like we're the only ones going through what we're going through, right? But really we're not. So many of us are going through so much pain, so much hurt, so much issues that knowing that we're not alone in this journey makes it a little bit better. And we just feel like I'm not crazy. So, and I think that's important, right? Because a lot of us feel that way, right? Like, am I the only one going through this? But really, you're not. There's so many other women who go through similar issues, and just banding together makes a huge difference. And and that's proof with our book, right? Just even us as, co-authors, it really helps us just be together, be there for each other when someone's not in the greatest mood. So thanks for sharing that. And Liza, how does it feel being that representation for so many Asian women in the world?
I feel proud being Asian, and I also feel that people who listen to my story and even the other authors and women in this story, it helps even younger girls and women to speak up and be that inspiration. And so I feel that representing the whole culture as well as the Asians is, it makes me feel really proud about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Liza, share one reason as to why every Asian woman needs to read this book.
I think every Asian needs to read this book because there are so many great stories and amazing stories that you can learn from it, as well as you can connect with the stories in this book. And it also will help inspire and encourage, one who's Asian, who's an Asian woman, to kind of light a fire and, let them know that, they can also reach their goal, that they too have a voice with themselves, and what they can do is, it matters.
Thanks for sharing that great response. And what can readers gain from reading your story?
What readers will learn from my story is that once they see the trauma that I've been through, they're going to learn like how I transform and how I rebuild again from that trauma. And I also do provide some tips and ways that they can get out of what it is that they have been through in their life, and through that experience that they too can learn something.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love that, because I think we don't talk about traumas enough, right? We all go through some form of trauma. I mean, even as young as 5 years old, I remember going to school in the Philippines. The teacher failed me. I failed kindergarten for coloring outside the lines. But if I didn't do the inner work, that would have still been stuck with me till now, thinking I was a total failure because of that one incident when I was 5 years old. And I think that is pretty traumatic as a 5-year-old, right? Like redoing kindergarten, moving to a new school, thinking you're not enough because you couldn't color a photo within the lines. And so sharing these traumas and sharing what we go through can really help other women feel like I'm not the only one who's gone through some form of trauma, and I can overcome it because I've seen her overcome it. And just showing other women, especially Asian women, what's possible for themselves can really help them rise up and boss up and be the person that they're meant to be. So thanks for sharing that. And Liza, can you share one boss up tip for our listeners today?
One boss up tip. So I always tell everyone this, that wherever it is that you go, whatever it is that you do, always autograph your brand with excellence, because the first impression always matters wherever you go. And so that quote, I've always used that and I always tell everyone that, which is autograph your brand with excellence. And from that to another thing that I can say is that, even if you do fail or you have an error or, you did accomplish something, I think that you should always celebrate no matter what.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love what you mentioned, celebration, right? Because that's something we don't do enough, celebrating their small wins. And I think it's important to celebrate the small wins just as much as the big wins, right? Because celebrating all these wins is what really attracts more wins into our life. And just even being able to appreciate everything that comes to us, having that mindset of abundance. So I really love that tip that you mentioned. And Liza, if our listeners wanted to get a copy of the book, is there any links that they can order it from? Or if there's any social media links you want to share with us today so they can connect with you?
So they can go to marketingandeventsecrets.com/Asian women who boss up. And another way that they can get a hold of me would be through Facebook under I am Liza Millan, and also on Instagram, I'm at I am Liza Millan.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Liza's name, her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Liza today for taking the time to share her tips, a little bit about her story and her wisdom today. So thank you so much, Liza. And we're so excited for this book to come out, right?
Yes, I'm super excited. And our summit too.
That's right. It's coming up soon in a couple of days. So don't forget to check that out and get a free registration. And honestly, Liza, thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Before we leave, I just want to give a shout out to the Girl Gang podcast. Every week on the Girl Gang podcast, you will hear from a special guest and host Amanda Smith on building business, developing a meaningful and impactful life, and female founder journeys. So check that out. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for our last episode of this amazing Asian Women Who Boss Up tour. And don't miss it. You definitely want to tune in. And thanks again for listening to Liza's story, and tune into the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. You can order your copy of Asian Women Who Boss Up book by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.